Hey everyone, my name is Josiah with From the Dust Outdoors, aka Sleeper. I got that trail name from my nephew, just simply because I love to sleep. On one of our trips, I slept in probably about an hour and a half to 2 hours later than everyone else. By the time that I woke up, they had already had breakfast, and their entire camp setup was packed down into their bag, and they were just waiting for me. So I got the nickname Sleeper out of that situation. So what drew me to the outdoors was actually my father. When I was a little kid, we would go on overnight camping trips, and it was just car camping stuff. You know, we would pack up a $20 tent that we got from Walmart that, my dad couldn't even fit into. Basically, he was curled up in a ball the entire night, and it wasn't waterproof, and so we had some run-ins with rain, but we would use this really cheap gear because it's all that we could afford, and we would go out and we would just have fun overnight camping. It was an amazing experience for me to not only bond with my father, but to develop a love for the outdoors and a love for nature. So that's what originally drew me to the outdoors, was that time with my dad, that time that I got to spend with him being outside. This might sound a little redundant, but my favorite part of being outdoors is actually being outdoors. I have two loves, basically. I have technology and being outside, the outdoors. So I am completely content with sitting in front of a computer all day long. That would be perfect for me. But if I don't get outdoors every month or so, if I don't go on a day hike every few weeks or an overnight trip every month or so, I really get this itch that I've got to be outdoors. I love walking outside and seeing all the beauty that's out in nature. Walking outside and just breathing in fresh air. It gets stale just being inside all the time or being in the city all the time. And so I love being outdoors. There's just this itch that gets scratched when I get out there. Alright, so funniest moment. This one took me a minute to think of. Not because not a lot of funny things happen, but because in the moment, a lot of these things that we find funny aren't really funny. You have to kind of look back and look through a lens of humor to see these things. And so it took me a minute to think about this, but almost instantly the moment that I thought of was when we were setting up camp on one of our last trips. We had to hike down into a valley to find water. So we were going down a bunch of hills, and we finally get down there, we find water, and something that you don't know about me yet is that I love hammock camping. So for me, if there's not a lot of trees around, I have to go farther away from the group to be able to find somewhere to camp, or I have to make it work with the limited trees that we have. So the only two trees that worked in this campsite were right across the trail. So I ended up setting this up hoping that nobody would come hiking across the trail before we woke up in the morning, which luckily nobody did. So that was awesome. But one other thing that I was doing on this trip is I was trying to cut weight. And so I left my bug net for the hammock at home because it almost doubles the weight of my hammock setup. So I left that at home, and I just brought basically a head covering, a little head net thing. And one of the questions that James asked me was, well, aren't you worried about spiders and bugs coming and getting you? And I said, no, it's a little bit too cold out right now for bugs. Spiders could be an issue still, but I haven't been bitten yet. And he's like, all right, okay, I guess you'll be fine, whatever. So I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Spiders haven't bugged me. What are they gonna do? Crawl all the way down the strap that's coming from the tree? Guess what happened that night? So I'm laying there in the hammock, and I just start to feel bites, all like 3 or 4 of them on my back. like big bites too, not little tiny things. And I almost got out. I ended up just kind of smacking the back of my hammock as much as I could, just to kill him, because I didn't want to get out and get everything out. But yeah, I ended up eating my own words that night because James, you were right. There were definitely spider issues. So my favorite piece of gear isn't really camping or hiking gear. Actually, it's not even outdoor gear technically. My favorite piece of gear is my cell phone set on airplane mode. So I love how versatile it is having a cell phone out there with you that is fully charged. And of course, part of being in the outdoors is disconnecting from everything. And so I leave it in airplane mode because I don't want text messages and phone calls and notifications and all these things distracting me and pulling me away from nature. So I do leave it in airplane mode when I'm on the trail. But I'm someone who loves to take video logs while I'm on the trail. I'm not so much of a writer, especially when I'm outdoors. And so I do love to just pull out my phone, take a selfie video of something cool that just happened, just explaining what I just experienced or what I just saw. I love taking photos of different things that I see, and I also use it as my main mapping solution. So I'll download the maps offline. I'll bring a paper map just as a backup in case, but I love having the availability of knowing exactly where I'm at on the trail, just in case I would ever get turned around or anything. So yeah, my favorite piece of gear is not even outdoor gear technically, but it is incredibly handy while you're in the outdoors. So I don't know per se that I have a ultimate trail that I would like to hike, but I do have some areas that are on my bucket list. I think the biggest one for me right now would be the Maroon Bells in Colorado. That area looks amazing. I would absolutely love that, and I know right now I'm in nowhere near the shape that I need to be to do a mountain hike like that, but man, the landscape is just beautiful out there, and I would love to hike that area. And another area that I would love to hike that's a little bit more obtainable, especially, we live in Ohio, and so I really would love to hike around in the Smoky Mountains in Tennessee. It's quite a bit closer than Colorado is, a little bit more obtainable, but still some amazing views and some awesome sights to see and some good trails to hike. So those are two areas that I'm really looking forward to hitting at one point. Well, I really look forward to producing more content and getting to know you guys better through comments, through different interactions that we'll end up doing. I really look forward to getting to know a community that is going to be built here. And so I can't wait to get you guys some good videos, some more gear reviews, some trail logs, some trip logs. It's going to be a fun time, so stick around for more content, and I'll see you guys later.